And so, yeah, I think what we do really well is we don't just say, here's our widget, take it or leave it. You know, as a company, we do a very good job of saying, what can we do for you to make it work for you, right? It's not what works for us, it's what works for you, and then we'll make it fit.
Yeah, some of these creative service models we're seeing now, it kind of checks all the boxes for the providers, for the hospital, for the practice management group. Everybody involved kind of gets what's important to them, and it makes it work a lot more seamlessly. And like I said at the beginning, ultimately puts the hospital back in the driver's seat.
I would say, you know, when we talk to hospital administrators, and you've heard me say this, and I've heard you say this too, is, you know, a lot of times we'll offer a unique perspective and say, hey, we're coming in with a C-suite for anesthesia. Right? I mean, you know, we talked about that several times. And so we bring in a CMO, a CEO, a CFO, and all that kind of stuff. And even if the hospital is still employing the providers or contracting with the providers directly, we'll offer those services and essentially treat this just as if we were doing a traditional management program. But we'll do everything that we would do otherwise and have all that expertise for you, for the hospitals, you know, at their beck and call pretty much any time. So, you know, recruiting and retaining are, again, like I said before, some of the toughest things we're doing in anesthesia right now because of the locums market, because of the supply and demand issues. I mean, I think going into a practice, every time we go in, no matter what model we use, we want to keep as many of the providers as the hospital wants to keep and as we're able to keep, given, you know, legalities and stuff. So, you know, if you can walk into a practice and it's already fully staffed, we will do everything we can to retain those providers and, you know, make sure that things continue to work smoothly. So I think that really helps in some of these hybrid models and some of these other things that we're doing where the hospital says, yeah, we're happy to keep those providers. We'll put them on our payroll and then you come help us manage the anesthesia. So I think that's a big aspect of it. And then again, recruiting and retaining, you have to be creative in how you create these positions. I think we're willing to do that. So splitting time, splitting shifts, taking evening shifts instead of daytime shifts. You really have to meet providers where they are. And so we bring in a clinical manager of some sort, whether that's a chief CRNA, a chief anesthesiologist. We have sites where we offer a director of anesthesia services, which according to Medicare, every site has to have. So we bring in all these things, no matter what model we use in a practice. And again, we take all that off the plate of the hospital. Again, no matter what we're doing, whether it's a hybrid model, whether it's traditional model, whether it's, you know, just helping the hospital with their employed model. And so it takes it off their plate. We also bring in compliance, which is a huge issue, right? If hospitals aren't in compliance with anesthesia, reimbursement goes down, you're at risk for joint commission issues. And so we just have a leadership structure locally, and then we have the company-wide leadership structure, both on the operations side and on the clinical side, where we help the hospitals do what they need to do for anesthesia. It's the difference between being a management company and a staffing company, basically. We provide white glove service, and that's what makes us, you know, different.